snare with the killer beat.
Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. We go back and forth, but I'm in on your mind. Cause maybe in a different time I can call you up and I can call you mine. Maybe in a different time, no. Maybe in a different life, no, no. Even though it hurts sometimes, just like all the stars, yeah, we'll be alright. I don't see no tears fall down your eyes. You done messed it up, that made me realize. For the record, never meant to hurt you, but all these games without emotions got me mental. I don't wanna lose you in this race against time, no. And see this through the end, I wanna do it right though. Every time I wanna leave you, reel me in back slow. Indecision got me tripping, I've been on the low lately. You took my heart, you took my soul, oh girl, I'm used to it. You took my heart, you took my soul, oh girl, I'm used to it. Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. We go back and forth, but I'm in on your mind. Cause maybe in a different time I can call you up and I can call you mine. Maybe in a different time, no. Maybe in a different life, no, no. Even though it hurts sometimes, just like all the stars, yeah, we'll be alright. Hold up, hold up. Let me switch the flow real quick. Yeah, let's go. I'm trying to fix the bits and pieces clinging to what's left of it. I'm tired of going through these things. I lost my cool and threw a fit. I'm diving down inside this booth to lose myself and feel a thing. Always tell the truth, I kept 100 more than anything. Let me get this out my chest and let me fix this mess. And take a look at all the stars, yeah, we'll be alright. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. Maybe in a different time, maybe in a different life. Even though it hurts sometimes. Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. We go back and forth, but I'm in on your mind. Cause maybe in a different time I can call you up and I can call you mine. Maybe in a different time, no. Maybe in a different life, no, no. Even though it hurts sometimes, just like all the stars, yeah, we'll be alright. Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. We go back and forth, but I've been on your mind. Good day to all the listeners and viewers of MyTV. My name is actually Trev, and that's my artist name, but for my real name is Trevor Sideriosa. And I'm a 21-year-old R&B and hip-hop artist from the city of Cebu. Growing up, I grew up around a very musically inclined family. I remember when I was, I think about like 2 or 3 years old, in our small home back then, because we were just renting a house. We actually grew up singing Josh Groban songs during that time, because my dad would like buy me those DVDs, and then we had like a lot of mics at home, and then I would just sing that at home. And then eventually growing up, I grew up around people who loved to listen to music. So I grew up with my grandparents as well. They loved to listen to music that were from the 60s, and my dad and mom used to listen to music from the 80s. And then eventually going into high school, I became, influenced by contemporary music. So I think that was my childhood. So I was really surrounded by people who love music. So it was something that came naturally to me. So I love singing ever since I was, ever since I could speak. You took me down on my lowest, then you crossed me. You crossed the line on my feelings. To tell you about like the different artists that have influenced my taste in music. Growing up as a kid, I was that kid that they would ask to sing into different events. Like, hey Trev, could you hop into the mic and just sing a few songs in weddings, in anniversaries, and all that. And I used to sing different, like a lot of the usual songs that were sung before, like Frank Sinatra. You also had like Michael Bublé, those kind of music. So those were the first kinds of songs that I learned to sing as a kid in front of an audience. But then eventually moving into high school, you start forming friends group. And when I became part of these like different friends group, I started going into hip hop and R&B. Now, when it came to that sound, during that time, I think that was the year 2016, or I think around like 2015, when Drake released his, I think it was like his biggest single called Hotline Bling. That was my first introduction into hip hop. And starting from that point in time, I then started to just branch out into other artists like Bryson Tiller, Trey Songs, a lot of the R&B and like hip-hop artists. So, but now in the year 2021, we now hear a lot of subgenres of rap, like melodic rap. So now I'm influenced by, if you listen to the songs that I was singing, there's a bit of melodies in them, even though I'm a hip-hop artist. So I'm definitely one person that is influenced by the likes of the late Juice WRLD and the Kid Laroi.
Spending all these nights alone, it gets lonely. You're the only color.
Nationally, there are, to tell you about myself, I am more than just an artist. I'm also a businessman while doing this music thing. So apart from that, like I myself as an artist, I work on the back end side of things. So I'm involved in PR, publicity, artist management. So I'm there like in the backgrounds of the music industry, learning how things actually like come to be. So I have come across like a lot of acts, and I've just joined this new, I mean like for 5 years now, I've been part of this movement. It's called Beat This PH. And what we do is we aim to connect with Filipino musicians who are abroad. Like they haven't had the chance to, come back to the Philippines, because a lot of these artists are whose parents may have been OFWs or like immigrants to other countries. So to name a few, I've heard like August Rigo. He's a Filipino Canadian. You guys might not know him, but this is the guy who wrote for BTS, and he's also the one who wrote You Smile by Justin Bieber. And to think that he's Filipino. Now, that's on the global scale of the Filipino sound, but locally, like I am influenced by a lot of international acts, but I think like when it comes to my sound, there's still a bit of that Filipino taste to it, because like a lot of the music I make are love songs. So I definitely think that the number one topic being spoken or being written about here in the Philippines are love songs. So I think that, to name a few artists, there are a lot of melodic rappers out there. Like if you listen to Because, he's a Manila artist, and then there's also, when you listen to my more party type hits, you can hear like a bit of Al James influence in it. So there's definitely, my influences are, it's a wide spectrum. There are global artists and there are local artists as well. Okay, so going back to the first question, like what I mentioned to you, I was someone who grew up around a very musically inclined family. Both of my parents know how to sing. If you see like the pictures of my dad, he was actually a radio host in one of the old stations here in Cebu back in the 80s. And then my mom was it was my grandfather used to work in ABS-CBN. So my mom was kind of exposed to the media world, but she wasn't someone who liked the spotlight. She was someone who knew how to sing, but she didn't like to be on the spotlight. She had a very good voice, both my parents. So I think I got that talent from them when it came to singing. But one thing that my parents always say to me is that I'm not, the songwriting didn't come from them. Because like, I actually, back in, I think it was in 2017, I started releasing covers onto Twitter, Facebook, and I think Instagram as well. I started putting out some cover songs with just like my cousin. He used to play the guitar for me, and then I would sing a song, and then I'd post it on Twitter. And eventually, one of my friends would tell me like, hey, why don't you write your own song? But then I was like, I don't know how to write because like I only know how to sing. And then he just told me it's really easy. It's just like, it's just like you expressing your feelings, and eventually a song will form. So that was back in 2017. I was just putting out covers, and then eventually that friend convinced me like, hey, why don't you put out your own song? And that's when my first song that I ever wrote, it was called Purple Dreams. I released it on Spotify. I think it was in November of 2017, and now it's on 60,000. I think it was around 60,000 listens on Spotify, and it went on the radio as well. So that was how my career started, and eventually, now it's been almost 4 to 5 years I've been in this game.
You've been on my mind lately, and I think that I'm falling off.
Okay, now when it comes to my songwriting process, there are, and I think a lot of people don't know this, but there are different people involved when it comes to the back end side of like making music. All the audience usually sees is the finished product, which is the song and like the artist singing it. But there are different people involved when it comes to writing a song. So first of all, when it comes to me, since I am a hip-hop artist and hip-hop and R&B, I make my songs over beats. So once again, a big shout out to my producer. He goes by the name Snare. Snare is in the instrument, but his real name is Francis Snare, and he's the guy who makes my beats or like the instrumentals to my songs. And how a song would come to be is that like it's either, hey, I'm feeling like a type of emotion right now, and then I tell him about it, and then he'd send me like, okay, I made this beat, like you're feeling sad, you're feeling happy at the moment, I made this type of beat. Or sometimes he would just make beats on the random, and then he would send that to me like, hey Trev, like are you feeling this kind of beat? And I'm like, yeah, I am. And then from there, once I get the beat, I would then start with the melody or like the tune to the song. Eventually, once I have that melody or tune, I would then move on to the lyrics of that song. Now, once the lyrics have been formed, I then go to the studio where a studio engineer is part. We would record the song, and then eventually we would have it mixed by a mixing engineer, where eventually that mixing process is mixing in the vocals and the beat of the song together to make sure that it sounds well. And finally, once the song has been mixed, we then have it mastered by a mastering engineer, and then that process is to make the song sound good on every sound system that you hear the song on, may it be in your car, your headphones, or like the TV. Really depends. So that's my whole process, and that's a bit of what happens on the back end side of making music.
Shorty got me in my feelings. I can't lie to this witness.
Okay, so the first song that I performed was actually a song called Stars, and then the second song that I performed is a song called Lost Me. Now, these two songs that I performed were actually part of the 5 songs that I released back in the year 2021. To tell you about it, it's a love song. I mean, everyone loves love songs, so I thought to write, my own love songs as well. And I, as an artist, I draw from real life experiences. So the whole story of those 5 songs were actually based off like, a sort of relationship or a thing I had going on with a girl that time. And it started with Falling Off, and in Falling Off, that was released in February of 2021. That was when because the story of that was the girl wouldn't trust me, because like I know I have the the rapper kind of image. So it was like, hey, this song was me telling her that, hey, this is me, you can trust me on this. And then eventually we moved on to the second song, which was more of a party dancehall type song called Damage. And that song called Damage was in collaboration with an artist from Australia, Melbourne. His name was Sin Santos, and that was the story of that was, hey, if that soft boy image doesn't work on you, this is the rapper image that I can put on as well. And then after Damage, eventually we move on to the first song that I performed for MyTV. It was called Stars. And for Stars, that was more of like me saying sorry. Like, I know I put up like a very bad front as a rapper to you. Now I'm here like apologizing. And then for the fourth song of 2021, I released a song called Telephone. And that song was actually a very special song to me, because like it was an ode to 80s music, because like if you listen to that song, it's very in line with beats or like songs that were produced from the 80s, and it gave off that very 80s kind of sound. And when I wrote that song, I wanted it to be very sincere, like a lot of the music that you hear from the 80s. So that was a song that was like saying to the girl like, hey, I miss you, and then eventually we move on to the second song that I performed for MyTV. Was called Lost Me, but the one I performed was actually an acoustic version. But if you go on Spotify, you can hear the one that was like made using beats. And that song, that ends the story. It's like, you lost me, I tried to work this out, but it didn't work. So that's the story of those 2 songs.
You should check my creds on my resume. 19 oppositions telling me that I'ma be the man.
So the latest song that I released back on the 8th of July, and it was followed by a music video on the 10th. It's called Margarita, and it's my first song for 2022 after following those 5 different songs. Took a break there, like a little stint there, and then I just released the song called Margarita. The music video is out, the song is out on Spotify. You can also listen to it. It's more of a party song. It's more of something that you can listen to while you're in the club. And to tell you the feeling of what it is like to listen to Margarita, what I want the listeners to feel or like to visualize once they listen to that song is like, hey, you're on the pool, you're sipping a glass of margarita, you're enjoying the fruits of your hard work and your labor. So it's time to reward yourself. Because like, to give you a backstory on how I wrote that song, it was a song that I wrote a day after I was signed to one of the biggest music labels in the world. Warner Music Philippines, which is a global music label. So it was a celebratory song for me. It was like, hey, I worked hard to get where I wanted to be with my career, and I think I deserve a celebration. So that's the story of Margarita, and you should check out the music video for that on YouTube.
Oh, I know it hurts sometimes. We go back and forth, but I've been on your mind.
Okay, now, when it comes to me as an artist, like I mentioned to you guys, I'm more than just an artist. Like, usually a lot of the artists I work with, they're very creatively inclined. I'm a bit of the creative, and I'm a bit of a business person as well. So I'm kind of like spread thin all over the place, because like I'm involved in the back end side of things, like managing artists and like also learning the business of music as well. So I am someone that is like multifaceted as a person, and that kind of spreads me really thin when it comes to things. I think my goal really is like, my end goal when it comes to my career is to leave a legacy, because like I was always a fan growing up. I was always a fan of history, and I always think that what's like my goal in life is to leave a lasting legacy, that when you know, everyone's bound to pass on, but like when I pass on, at least I can say like, hey, I made something that can be like remembered throughout the ages, and people will remember that, or like people will still listen to my music even though I passed. Like, you know, Michael Jackson, he's passed away, but like people still listen to his music. So that's what I want ultimately in the long term, like talking about things. But now, when it comes to the short-term goals, my goal really is to be able to expand myself when it comes to the creative side, because like I said, I am very spread thin as an artist. I'm working on the business side as well as like the creative side. So I wish to expand myself on the creative side, like to be able to do more genres, because I don't want to stick to just one genre. If you listen to my songs, I also have a song called Maria. It's a very Latin-inspired type song. And then Telephone, which I talked about a while ago, is a very Japanese city pop-inspired kind of song. And then my next song is actually a drill song, which is inspired by the UK drill scene. So I quite jump from one genre onto another, because I don't want to confine myself to just one. So that's really like my goal as an artist. And I think like looking at the short-term goal, it's to dominate the market. Somehow like Drake. When you listen to Drake, you know he's on dancehall. He has the sad boy music, he has the club music, so he dominates all facets of the market. So I think that's my goal as an artist on the short term. But on the long term though, to leave a lasting legacy for like people to look up to, or like to remember me for. Okay, now I've been in the scene here in Cebu. I've grown up in Cebu my whole life. I've lived here for about 21 years already, and I've seen how this city works. Definitely what I can say about the Cebuano local music scene is that this place is a scene, it's not an industry. Why is that? Because a lot of the artists that work here or like make music here, they actually can't quit their day jobs to make music their full-time thing. And that's the sad part about Cebu. And I think like what I hope for the Cebuano or like the Visayas music scene in general is that hopefully like the artists here who make music, because I really see that there are a lot of talented people here in Visayas or like in Cebu in general, but there's just not an industry or like a support system to fully support them. So like me, I have to do a business while doing this music just for me to support and fund my music needs. So hopefully I hope moving forward, like with the government initiatives that are coming and the private sector initiatives that are coming as well, like I do hope, and I've been involved in those different things, I do hope that the Cebuano music scene can be officially turned into the Cebuano music industry, so that the artists and the creatives here coming from Cebu can really turn their passions, their creativity into their day job. And I mean like to support them financially, because like we don't want to be working a day job while doing this music thing. We want to do the music thing full time. So that's my hopes.
You took me down on my lowest, then you crossed me. You crossed the line on my feelings, now you lost me. I ain't gonna play a stupid game, it's been exhausting. You ain't the first one to regret, cause now you lost me, lost me. I can't hold on, no, for another night. Playing with my heart and mind, pain written in my eyes. I can't wait for you just to get her right. Caught up in petty fights, now baby girl you lost me. I swear, all you ever do is mess around with me. Playing with my mental, this ain't right for me. Well, I care just enough for you to see right through me. Now my heart's a broken piece, all my scars are shaped in hearts. Where did we just fall apart? Took the time to build you up, but girl, now it's just torn apart. You left me all these scars, then back in Valentine's. Now I look up at the stars, thinking about you. You know I was kept it real with you. I told the truth, gave my love, baby, it's typical. But lately I can tell the deal with you. You putting dirt right on my name, baby, it's pitiful. You took me down on my lowest, then you crossed me. You crossed the line on my feelings, now you lost me. I ain't gonna play a stupid game, just be exhausting. You ain't the first one to regret, cause now you lost me, lost me. I can't hold on, no, for another night. Playing with my heart and mind, got pain written in my eyes. I can't wait for you just to get her right. Caught up in petty fights, now baby girl you lost me. Now I brush away the pain, but I'm feeling it. I pour my heart out in these verses and my feelings. You did me wrong, you're the reason that I'm heartless. Just like that song, nice guys better just be ruthless. Girl, I tried to stay through your worst days, but you lied, I'm tripping on your own game. And I died, seeing things were not the same. Seasons change and feelings fade. Baby, why do you have to change? Switched up, changed up, now I gotta wake up. I don't wanna feel love, lately I'm just pissed off. Messed up, hate love, nothing on my favor. I don't wanna feel love, you just make me pissed off. Switched up, changed up, now I gotta wake up. I don't wanna feel love, you just make me pissed off. Messed up, hate love, nothing on my favor. I don't wanna feel love, you just make me. She took me down on my lowest, then she crossed me. She crossed the line on my feelings, now she lost me. I ain't gonna play a stupid game, it's be exhausting. She ain't the first one to regret, cause now she lost me, lost me. I can't hold on, no, for another night. Playing with my heart and mind, got pain written in my eyes. I can't wait for you just to get her right. Caught up in petty fight, baby girl you lost me. All these games without emotions got me mental. I don't wanna lose you in this race against time, no. You see this through the end, I wanna do it right though. Every time I wanna leave you, reel me in back slow. Indecision got me tripping, I've been on the low lately. You took my heart, you took my soul, oh girl, I'm used to it. You took my heart, you took my soul, oh girl, I'm used to it. Oh, I know it hurts sometimes, we go back and forth, but I'm in on your mind. Maybe in a different time I can call you up and I can call you mine. Maybe in a different time, no.